celebrating your successes is really important, but you should already know what the next goal is, have it written down, and then after celebrating, you just don't celebrate forever.
Yeah.
That used to be my problem at the casino. I'd be celebrating like for 48 hours. If you're helping further the science and help a lot of learners, that's all we care about. It's not about proprietary stuff.
There is a post-reinforcement pause, so this occurs after reinforcement's delivered, and you can see where it kind of goes horizontal after the tick. That's like the pause, and they're not really working at that point to gain reinforcement, but then you see the increase because rates are occurring more quickly because they want to access that reinforcement again.
This is an example of where if you accomplish a goal, you get some kind of reinforcement, and then you just chill for a while, and you're like, I just need a break. You know, I mean, literally, that's why I think you have to keep setting goals, or else you can get complacent. So another example of a post-reinforcement pause could be if you were, say, a server, a waiter, a waitress, where if someone gave you a giant tip, you know, halfway through the night, and then you just clocked out because you got the big tip, you're like, I'm good. So I don't need, you know, I'm good for a while. So that's a post-reinforcement pause. You receive reinforcement and your performance went down. The best way to avoid the post-reinforcement pause would be to have a surprise variable reinforcer right after they earn. There's a shot to earn again really quickly. Just like a slot machine doesn't, you could pull the thing twice in a row and hit. Just because you hit the slot machine and got a payout doesn't mean your next pull you won't. So you might need a variable schedule of something right after someone achieves their goal or gets what they want, especially a learner. If they comply and do and they continue their performance, they can earn something right afterwards. So I gave that example before where a kid I worked with in the school would never come back to the class after he earned his walk. Once he got to the class, he would, because he already got what he wanted, so he's like, F you, why should I go back to the class? Because he got what he wanted, which was a walk around to visit people. So what we had to do was create a variable schedule, so if he appropriately returned to the classroom and to work, he could quickly earn another walk, but by drawing from a hat with a bunch of like, walk, no walk, walk, no walk. So by appropriately crossing the threshold and coming into the classroom, he can earn the ability to go for another walk right away. But it was variable because pulling out of the hat, there was like three of them said go for another walk immediately, and like 3 of them said no walk, continue working. So he complied just for the shot at the chance of another walk. Does that make sense?
Well, what happened if you pulled a no walk?
He was already in there working.
Yeah.
So you didn't have him outside flopping on the ground in the hallway right outside the classroom. You could have a little burst, but he was already there. And outside the classroom, it was a public school. So then all of a sudden that has social ramifications where they want to kick the kid out of district because it's disturbing other students. You know what I mean? My personal recommendation is that you already have in mind what your next goal is. So that way, before you accomplish the goal, you already know that you have another goal ready to go, but you should celebrate a little bit. I think celebrating your successes is really important, but you should already know what the next goal is, have it written down, and then after celebrating, you just don't celebrate forever.
Yeah.
That used to be my problem at the casino. I'd be celebrating like for 48 hours. You have to vary that. So if it's tangible stimuli, it's a reinforcer, and that's the function. You got to vary those stimuli constantly to keep novelty.
Especially at the end of the year, they're so used to 180 days of straight earning.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that. So now it's like
Even the one person that's reinforcing with attention, they're just freaking sick of them.
No, yeah.
Like, the only thing more dangerous than somebody that has resources like a Trump or something like that is somebody who has nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? They're dangerous. Because the person that has nothing to lose is a loose cannon. They're going to engage in extinction-induced variation in responding. They're going to do anything to get something. I know I say this a lot, but please let me know if I promised something I didn't deliver. You know how I feel about that. It would be an oversight. Please tell me. And then the other thing is, like, please tell me like, if there's something of a resource I can give you that would just make you better or like take a load off of you personally. You know, like Anything you need, like you needed some suggestions. Sometimes I can help with an attorney, you know, stuff like that. I just want to be able to be 100% available. Like any resource that I have personally is yours. You promise? Well, you promise?